Alright, we are on, and it is the finals of the NPL Minors Draft Tournament Tryouts thing. We playing against the TheUziGunner, which is a player I respect a lot. I've been subscribed to him for probably around a year now. I really liked his content when I saw that he did analyst work for GBA Season 5. I thought it was pretty knowledgeable about the format, so I watched a couple of his videos, and he did super well in the GPC, so I'm definitely scared going into this match. He hasn't played draft for a while, but he's definitely come back with a vengeance. He has the same record as us with 5-1. He only lost to Magic in pool play, my last opponent, because he missed a hurricane with his Scarf Tornadus against Magic's Mega Beedrill. So, and then Mega Beedrill got a crit U-turn, so that's justice. Either way, Uzi's team is Mew, Buzzwole, Alola Marowak, Komala, Tapu Fini, Tornadus, Zygarde 10%, and Mega Diancie. So very threatening draft. I know I say that a lot, but this one really doesn't have a single bad mon on it. All mons are good against my team in one way or another. Except Mega Diancie. I don't think Mega Diancie's that great against me, but the rest all have reason to come, especially like a Dragon Dance Zygarde 10%. He didn't end up bringing it, but that definitely puts in work against me. So I'll go over the team I've brought today. I definitely wanted to go in with a set game plan. So my game plan will mostly revolve around switching between two mons. I'm going to be doing a lot of switching between Hydreigon and Mega Venusaur. That'll be my main offensive presence against him, because I'm expecting him to bring 5 mons 100%. The 5 mons I'm 100% expecting him to bring are Mew, Buzzwole, Alola Marowak, Tapu Fini, and Tornadus. The reason I'm expecting those is that I don't have a great switch into Tornadus. My best flying resist is Celesteela, and that takes a decent amount from Heat Wave. With my investment, I can take a Hurricane and a Heat Wave Life Orb, but it's beside the point. It still does a ton to my team. Tapu Fini's his best Hydreigon switch in. That's pretty much the only reason it's going to come. It's also a fine switch into Lycanroc, it's a fine switch into Gliscor. And it resets Electric Terrain if Tapu Koko has that up. The reason I'm expecting Alola Marowak to come is that offensively I don't have a great switch into it. It can break through my team really well with an Adamant Thick Club set if it wants to bring that. It's also his best rock setter. Like, he could bring it in against my Celesteela. He can pretty much go hard Marowak against my Celesteela and set up rocks. For that reason, I do have a bit of speed on my Celesteela to speed creep in Adamant Max Speed Marowak, because I do expect him to bring Adamant Speedy, because he's going to want to be able to revenge Celesteela without having to take Earthquake damage. And I'm expecting Buzzwole to come, because it can also break my team pretty reliably. It has a decent matchup, like typing wise, against my team. I don't have any mons with Flying Stab. Like Gliscor is Flying type, but not Flying Stab. I think it's Ice Punch for Gliscor, and Super Power and Leech Life hit the rest of my mons decently hard. Buzzwole has a bit of a hard time with Mega Venusaur, but that's pretty much it. It does really well against everything else. And most of my attacks are either physical or resisted, except from Tapu Koko, so it's going to be a little bit hard for me to break that mon. And Mew is also great against my team offensively. I expect him to bring a more offensive team, definitely. Not really as many walls. Mew gets a lot of coverage for my team. It can exploit 4 times weaknesses like Gliscors and Hydreigons. So, basically, with my prep against Mew, what I did for the Flying Bird, his Mew, was that I brought Florges in that matchup, and Florges could take hits from a 4-move attacking Mew, because he couldn't, if he's 4-move attacking, he needs to bring like all special attacks, and he can't really bring Gunk Shot. But if he brought like a setup Mew like Sub or Calm Mind, or even if he just has Roost, he actually can't hit all my walls super effectively. But so since I didn't bring Florges, I'm a lot weaker to the 4-move attacking Mew, like all 4 attacks, just of coverage. So I'll have to watch out for that a lot. I think that set's really good against me. I don't have Florges in this matchup, actually, because of Marowak again. My team doesn't have a great switch into Marowak. Uzi has played against a Marowak before in this league. He played against Turkey or Turkey, I don't know how to pronounce it, but I think a couple rounds ago he had a Hydreigon. He kept switching in over and over to Marowak and eventually got hit with a Brick Break on the switch and it died. I don't know why he didn't low kick, but either way it died, so that could be pretty annoying to deal with. Could also have Knockoff, which knocks off my choice specs. Spoiler alert, that's my set. So, seeing as that I knew, like, sort of which Mons he would bring, except for that 6th slot in which he brought Komalo over Zygarde and Mega Diancie, I decided that my main offensive presence to break his team would be a Specs Hydreigon and an offensive Mega Venusaur. So Specs Hydreigon, his only switch into it is Tapu Fini. And Tapu Fini is a great switch in at that, it is. But I want to be able to capitalize on Tapu Fini and make it a liability to his team rather than an asset to his team. So, and the same goes for Marowak. So, what I mean by that is every time Tapu Fini comes in, I want to go hard Venusaur. I don't care about Venusaur's HP level. All I care is that I outspeed Tapu Fini and I get a Sludge Bomb off against his team, because Sludge Bomb hits everything really, really hard. He doesn't have a Sludge Bomb switch in, a max special attack Sludge Bomb switch in. Like, as you can see just from his team matchup, Komala gets hit really hard. I can actually just hit that with a knockoff. Well, I guess I should detail my set first, so that you don't just point to something and be like, oh, you can just switch in that. My set is 252 special attack, modest, 8 in HP and 216 in speed. The 216 speed is to outspeed a defensive Mew by a lot. Like if he decides to run like 32 speed EVs on that, just to speed creep the speed creep, then I'll be outspeeding him. And 8 HP is just left over. I have knockoff, HP Ice, Sludge Bomb, Synthesis. Synthesis is so that I can keep switching to Tapu Fini. Like if I get low enough, it might be kind of hard. And knockoff is really great against Marowak because I knock off his Stick Club before it gets to attack me. So even if I'm kind of low, I can take whatever hit it wants to go for. I don't really care about Will-O-Wisp, and Flare Blitz isn't super effective, so that'll help a lot versus Marowak. HP Ice is so that Zygarde can't set up on me, because I don't have Giga Drain on this set. I decided that Sludge Bomb was better to go for. It just always hits whatever wants to switch in the hardest, because basically he has 2 Sludge Bomb resists, and he has 2 Sludge Bomb resists in Marowak and Zygarde 10%. And Marowak I hit with the knockoff, and Zygarde 10% I hit with HP Ice. So Mega Venusaur is like really great if I get it in on Tapu Fini, because Tapu Fini can Nature's Madness me, which will never kill me. Then I hit his team, or whatever wants to switch in, with the Sludge Bomb. Or Tapu Fini can Moonblast me, which does even less. Unfortunately, he might get the special attack drop, but I gotta deal with that if that does happen. And I am expecting a more offensive Mew, even though he has never brought offensive Mew in the past in this tournament. It could happen because it's better this match than defensive Mew, but we'll see, because I don't have a good Willow switch in. I don't have a fire type on this draft. My only good Willow switch in is a Gliscor, which has already been Toxic Orbed, or Hydreigon is a pretty good Willow switch in too. Speaking of Hydreigon, that's my other offensive presence on this team. Hydreigon is meant to take advantage of Mons like Alolan Marowak and Mew. I bring it in against them. They are threatened out, and I get to smack something really hard with the Dark Pulse. Obviously, he does have Tapu Fini to switch in, and that's fine, because then I can just go hard Venusaur and hit something hard with the Sludge Bomb. So that's going to be most of the pivoting in this match, is I go Venusaur. Okay, so I have Hydreigon in against, for example, Alolan Marowak. I click Dark Pulse on his switch to Tapu Fini. I wear it down. I go hard Venusaur. He goes for whatever move. I click Sludge Bomb, something dies, or he switches in Mew and it takes half, and then I go into Hydreigon again and threaten him out, or just sack something and go Hydreigon again and just keep up a offensive presence that way, and eventually I'll be able to win with Tapu Koko or Lycanroc, both my fast sweepers. So speaking of my fast sweepers, mons I brought as fast sweepers today are Tapu Koko. I have Darkinium Z with Thief, Wild Charge, Brave Bird, U-Turn, Max Special Attack with a Naughty Nature. Not sure why I'm naughty, because yeah, I guess that was just a team building oversight, because I originally had Dazzling Gleam on the set for Buzzwole, but Brave Bird does just as much. Brave Bird actually does more. It's a bit of an oversight, but it doesn't really matter since this thing isn't really taking special hits either way. And Darkinium Z, they're obviously for the Alolan Marowak. I'll be able to kill it with Brave Bird plus Thief or whatever. So that's going to be his main switch into this, because that's what switching on the OU ladder is. But with the Z moves, I'll be able to take it out pretty efficiently that way. I had a Scarf for a while to be able to revenge Tornadus, but I realized that I didn't really want to be locked into a move against that, because I didn't want to have to click U-turn against a Tornadus when I don't really have a great Hurricane switch in. Well, I do have a couple Hurricane switch-ins, but I didn't want to have to predict him and click Scarf U-turn, because that could end up really badly for me. And my other sweeper is Lycanroc. This is a choice ban set, because his only rock resist is Zygarde 10%, and that doesn't really count. So we're going to be going for some banded Stone Edges, and it's going to be doing a ton to anything that wants to switch in, except Buzzwole. Buzzwole doesn't take much from this, but I can deal with Buzzwole in other ways. So just Stone Edge, Accelerock, Crunch, and then I didn't really need another move, so I just put Sucker Punch, just in case he, I don't know, sets up like an Agility with Mew or something like that, and it gets threatening. And then Celesteela's here. Its main job is to switch into Tornadus once, get off a hit, and then be sacked fodder later in the game for my wall-breaking threats. And then Gliscor's there mainly just to get up rocks and take advantage of defensive Mew, and I can outspeed defensive Mew with U-turn. If he's offensive, I'll probably just sack it, or sack Steela, just sack something like that and get up and get in Hydreigon. So that's the team. The main plan is to break his entire team with Hydreigon and Venusaur, which I think will be pretty easy to do. I mean, looking at what the 6 he did end up bringing, he's very weak to Tapu Koko, because he didn't bring Zygarde, so I can just freely go for electric moves, because Marowak takes a ton from the Z Thief. It's important that I get up rocks, so the Marowak is in range of Z Thief. But, yeah, that's what it ends up being. The 6 he brought, pretty predictable 6. I did expect Zygarde 10 over Komala, but not by a lot. I did 3 mocks for this battle, and 2 of them brought Zygarde 10, and 1 of them brought Komala. 1 of them brought both. Only 1 of them brought Mega Diancie, and yeah, they all brought these 5. 1 of them didn't bring Tapu Fini for some reason, but I was able to deal with the team even better because of that, because then there was no Hydreigon switching. So let's get into the match. So he leads Tapu Fini as I lead Hydreigon, which is kind of bad for me, because I lead Hydreigon, predicting him to lead either Marowak to get at rocks, or Tornadus, or Buzzwole. Well, either Mew or... Well, the mons I expected were either Mew or Marowak as 2 potential rockers, because Mew can outspeed my rocker Gliscor and kill it with an Ice Beam if he wants to, if he's that set. And Marowak can just get up rocks against mons like Mega Venusaur, Tapu Koko, and Celesteela. So I expected those two leads, but he does end up just leading Tapu Fini, which does counter my Hydreigon lead, unfortunately. So I just fire off a U-turn here. It does nothing to this, and I just go hard into Venusaur. He does stay in against me, which is a perk of the U-turn set, because if he tries to double, I still get the momentum. So whenever I have Hydreigon in against Tapu Fini, just going for U-turn is going to be really nice, because that means he guaranteed stays in with Tapu Fini, which he can't do anything to Venusaur. That means just a guaranteed Sludge Bomb on whatever wants to switch in. So I go for Sludge Bomb here. Doesn't have a great switch in. He goes into Komala. As you can see, this is a max Bidef Komala. Still takes a pretty good chunk, and I just knock off its leftovers, and now it's severely weakened, and it won't be able to switch into me again. He does go for U-turn and goes out into Tornadus. This will be able to revenge me, but I do have Celesteela, which can switch into at once. Unfortunately for him, he misses a Hurricane and a Heat Wave here, but I mean, it matters, but not that much, because Celesteela, most likely, it's not going to be able to get a lot of damage off against his team, because he has a lot of things that can revenge it pretty well. Like, you can, like, none of his mons can really one-shot it, except Marowak, but like, I can't really do much back to them. It's mostly just here as a sack. Like, I have 2 offensive threats, 2 sweepers, and 2 sacks, basically, is my team. And Celesteela is one of the sacks, so I don't need it that much this match, but unfortunately for him, he does miss it, so it goes out to Tapu Fini on my Heavy Slam. I just go hard Venusaur again, as he does go Marowak, and I can just knock it off, which is great because I've neutralized one of the biggest threats to my team. Now he's in Z Thief range from Tapu Koko. Now he can't Oko Celesteela. Now Low Kick or Prick Prick don't kill Hydreigon. So that's really nice for me. Gliscor is also an easy switch in at this point too. But I don't really want to switch it in because of the Will-O-Wisp possibility. So he just goes for Stealth Rock there, and I can just synth up on this next turn, because he can't do anything back to me. He decides to sack his Komala here, as he goes for a Wish, and I switch out, predicting his Protect, or predicting him to want to pass his Wish to Marowak, but he ends up just passing it to Mew, which is unfortunate for him. Good double on his part, because I don't have a great switch into this Mew if it's offensive. So I have to play to my outs here. Now, I don't think I ended up making the right play. As you can see, he went for Ice Beam. Like, I could have gone into Celesteela here, but my best way of winning at this point, I think, is just risking it and just going for rocks right here, making a bold play. Because at this point, if he outspeeds me and kills me, that means he is offensive Mew, and I didn't have a good switch in either way. Like Celesteela, I can switch into the Ice Beam, I take a Thunderbolt, I go for Heavy Slam, then I die to the next Thunderbolt. If I went hard Hydreigon, I died to 2 Ice Beams. And he could be speed creeping it. If I went Venusaur, I died to Psyshock. If I went Lycanroc, I guess it would have been fine if I died to Lycanroc, but I can't kill it, and it can kill me on the next Stone Edge. If I went Tapu Koko, then it gets pretty severely weakened because I am Rash. So I decided to stay in and go for rocks. Unfortunately, he is fast, and he does carry Ice Beam. He's been Willow, Roost, Rocks, Mew for like 3 weeks in this tourney, so I really expected that since I don't have a good Willow switch in. But unfortunately for me, he does end up being the offensive set. So Gliscor goes down, I don't get rocks this game, and that's really unfortunate for me. I'm going to Celesteela here. Heavy Slam does a decent chunk to offensive Mew, so I'll be able to maybe 3 KO it, and I don't take much from its moves. As you can see, it is a 3 KO. I just go for Leech Seed, so it's even less than 3 KO, and then I Heavy Slam whatever wants to switch in. He goes into Marowak. I can see he's pretty defensive, so my Earthquake, even though I do outspeed him, it won't be killing him. So I need to go out into either Hydreigon or Venusaur here. I pick Hydreigon. I want to keep up offensive presence. I want another kill. So I go Hydreigon here. I don't want to risk Venusaur getting burned, because that would mean I just get a lot of chip and I'd have less rock switch-ins than I'd want to have. So I go into Hydreigon, and unfortunately for me, he goes for knockoff. So that removes a lot of my power. I don't think I can one-shot Mew after the knockoff. And I don't think I can one-shot like a bulky Buzzwole with Draco after knockoff. So that's really unfortunate for me. If his Komala somehow manages to heal up, I can't kill that. But I still can get off a Dark Pulse against this Marowak, which is what I do as he just sacks Komala. If he goes into Tapu Fini to revenge, I can just go for U-turn. Again, really nice having U-turn so that he can't double on my switch to Venu. I know he's going to stay in. So I go around to Venu, I get another Sludge Bomb kill. It's just Nature's Madnesses. And luckily for me, he does switch out. Like, he's keeping this Tapu Fini alive, which is awesome for me, because every time it comes in, it's just a liability to his team, because Venusaur comes in for free. So he goes out into Mew, takes a gigantic hit from Sludge Bomb, and I just go hard Hydreigon, predicting Psyshock. Because he hasn't predicted me at all this match, really. The only thing was the double the Mew on my Gliscor, which I don't even know if that was a prediction per se. Like, he may not have been predicting me there and was making a play that I didn't really understand. Like, looking back at the play, so I had Venusaur in against Komala, so he switched to Mew, I guess wanting to save his Komala and keeping it as sack fodder, thinking that my Sludge Bomb wouldn't do much to it, which I guess makes sense because he does threaten me out and keeps his sack fodder. So it may not even have been a prediction, but it ended up working out for him in the end because I over predicted. So he hasn't been making super aggressive plays this match either way. So I didn't expect him to make the aggressive play and go for Ice Beam against my Venusaur. So I go hard Hydreigon, and it ends up paying off for me because it just goes for Psyshock. So from an Expert Belt Mew, an Ice Beam here is a roll to kill me, and I don't think he's going to risk it. So I just go for a Dark Pulse, predicting Tapu Fini, as that's what happens. He goes out to Tapu Fini, and I just go for a U-turn. Go back out into Venusaur, and I get yet another kill with Sludge Bomb. But this time it's like a real kill. It's not just you switch in Mew, take half, and then threaten me out. This time I actually just get a kill. So he does make the smart play and sacks Tapu Fini, which is bad for me because, like, I was hoping he would sack Marowak or something, so that Venusaur could come in again later and get another kill against him. But he makes the smart play, sacks Tapu Fini, and now Mew's looking like a bigger threat than ever. Obviously, Lycanroc and Tapu Koko can still revenge it, but it's gonna be hard. So he goes out into Mew, takes me out with a Thunderbolt. I die to rocks, no reason to keep this thing around. I go into Tapu Koko to revenge it. I go for a U-turn, predicting his switch. I'm not sure if this was the best play. I think I should have gone just for a Wild Charge and killed him with Z Thief, because he didn't have great counterplay once this died. Like, you go Mew, I kill you with Wild Charge. You go Buzzwole, I kill you with Brave Bird. If you go Thundurus, I kill you with Wild Charge. Like, Buzzwole, it could be Scarf, and then I just switch to Celesteela and eat Poison Jabs, or I switch to Lycanroc, eat Poison Jabs, or just stay in, predicting Superpower. Either way, but yeah, I think Wild Charge was the better play there. But I do go for U-turn, which is a fine play too, because it allows Hydreigon to get in one more Dark Pulse before it dies. Which is what I do go into. I go into Hydreigon, I go for Dark Pulse. Take this thing out. And then Mew comes in, kills me with the Ice Beam. And I go out into Tapu Koko. I kill Mew with the Wild Charge. And now, what he does right here is genius. I have to say that. Massive credit to Uzi for this play. He brings in Buzzwole really fast here. So, he makes me think immediately that he's Scarf. Because, I mean, this would be the play regardless of whether you're Scarf or not, but he went this really fast. Like, if he wasn't Scarf, then he probably would have, you know, sort of accepted his loss at that point and just, like, sort of lazily scrolled to the Thundurus or Buzzwole and clicked his mouse, but no, he goes fast Buzzwole. So now I'm like, shoot, fail case, I lose to Scarf Buzzwole. So, now you may be thinking, Tapu Koko still tanks a superpower from this, from Scarf Buzzwole. Celesteela and Lycanroc tank Poison Jabs. But I don't know which one he's going to lock himself into. Because after Rocks, I don't take a Poison Jab from this. But right now I do. And Brave Bird obviously kills this, especially after a superpower damage. Not damage, but superpower defense drop. So, my play is either go out to Celesteela or Lycanroc, predicting Poison Jab, or stay in, either sack this to Poison Jab, or he goes for superpower, over predicting, and I kill him with Brave Bird. I end up making the Celesteela play, thinking that I still needed Tapu Koko for Thundurus. I don't believe that was the right play in retrospect, because even if he killed me with a Scarf Poison Jab here, I could just go I guess I go Celesteela first. I 2KO Thundurus. I 2KO Thundurus with Heavy Slam, and then 2KO his Thundurus with Heavy Slam, and then I guess because if he goes for Poison Jab here, I go into Celesteela, or, well, he kills me with Poison Jab. I go into Lycanroc. I click Stone Edge a bunch of times. He either stays in and goes for Poison Jabs, in which case it's like a 4 KO, and my Banded Stone Edge is a 2 KO. But that banks on whether he gets the poison, or whether I miss a Stone Edge. Or I believe Stone Edge is a 2 KO roll. So a lot of hacks there. So that would have been sort of a risky play, but if I do get good hacks with that, I do just win with Banded Stone Edge. And Celesteela tanks 1 superpower after Rocks. So my best play here is to stay in. But in the battle, I didn't think it through thoroughly. I thought it through for a long time, because I was thinking to myself, okay, if he's not Scarf, he just loses to Celesteela and Lycanroc. So there's no reason for me to keep this around in hindsight. But I do decide to keep it around. I make the wrong play. He predicts me making the wrong play, and he goes for superpower. So now the game's locked up for him, because he can just go for another superpower, and he'll be good to go. Celesteela's gone. Now he can just switch to Torn on my Tapu Koko. Like, even if I double the Lycanroc, predicting Torn to get recoil damage on me, and I kill Torn with Lycanroc, he still cleans up the game with 2 Scarf superpowers. So, good game to Uzi. Very, very, very difficult last 2 turns. I'm definitely proud to get this far in the NPL Minors Tryouts. Definitely one of the best games I've played, league games I've played in a while. I think both our preps were really on point. Um, really, congratulations to Uzi for becoming the champion of the tryouts. And he really predicted me this game. Gotta say, I wasn't expecting him to predict, honestly, because he had. I looked at all of his replays. He hadn't made any like bold switches or anything like that, and I thought he would just play this one safe. But no, he played very aggressively, which is both not characteristic of him and caught me off guard. So props to him for outplaying me there, and congrats on a well earned title to him. And I would just like to address that um, recently I did get a message from Trev CL, the commissioner of NPL Minors, and even though we didn't win the championship this season, we did get into minors, which is awesome. Because all in all, the main purpose of this tourney is that we get into NPL Minors, regardless of whether we're the champion or not. Of course, I'd love to be the champion. I'd love to receive, all the respect for that, but it's very cool being in NPL Minors because that's respect all in itself. Because there's the application screening process, then the pool play, then all the bracket matches, and then it was pretty cool that I came in second out of all the people who applied. So NPL Minors videos will be going up soon. I'm in a couple other leagues right now. I might start uploading videos for those. I'm not sure yet. There's one called Brawl for All, which is pretty cool. Just a short little tourney. Winner of it actually gets a monetary prize, which is pretty cool. I think winner gets $40 or something like that. So that might be cool if we can snag that. Pretty cool draft for that. Might do a draft analysis. So look forward to more cool things from this channel in the future, and I will see you guys later. Bye.